Hi, we're back. It's Japan Day 2. Today we went to the TeamLab. We had to wake up early enough because we had a booked-in 9 o'clock session, but it's kind of like a window you have between 9 to 10 o'clock to get in there. This is the Mori Building Digital Art Museum, Epson TeamLab Borderless. They have two team labs in Tokyo. One was further away, which was Planets, I believe, which my dad and I had been to a couple of years ago. He actually went to it again with my younger brother like 2 years ago, and they had updated it, added more stuff. But because it was quite a trip to get to it, I figured, look, if we go to Borderless instead, because Helene hadn't been to any of them, that's something new for me, but they do have, galleries in there, because it's a digital art museum, that is in every single one of them. There's even one in Kyoto that we could have gone to, but they all feature a lot of the same stuff. Each one just has exclusivities and whatnot, because they've got permanent editions, whatever, and non-permanent versions in their gallery, so there'll be a lot of footage of that playing, but again, all copyrighted music. Really nice to go there again. I'd say maybe a bit better because the other one is more physical obstacles and stuff, and because of the lighting, it can be difficult to find your foot in, so you have to be careful. It's very maze-like. They emphasize that to begin with, that you could be getting into the same room several times, but they have an app that you download, and it gives you the opportunity to check off every single thing that you've been to. So Helene and I were very particular. Okay, we've been here, we've been there, we've been there. Most people say it's about a 3-hour thing in total. We were there for about 2 hours. We were very early that day, which is great. Like, we were late to get there, but we got everything done maybe within 90 minutes. Because again, a lot of it's projected stuff that will repeat throughout rooms, but there's a lot of great interactive rooms. There's one that's just completely lights, one that's light balls and all kinds of stuff. You get images of fish and animals and people walking around. There's really a lot of stuff to be shown in this place. Some of them was like digital versions of like mosaic paintings and stuff, which was really nice. There's a lot of people, of course, because it's pretty popular, and this is the easy one to get to. In Tokyo, they allow you to leave your bags in a locker, which was great. Leave all your drinks behind. We basically just kept a wallet on us because there is a cafe you could go to where you could literally draw your tea and they give it to you. There's a kid-friendly room where they can draw fish, which had a queue as well, which we avoided both of those two rooms because it's like, well, we don't need tea right now, and we're not kids, so we can just appreciate the rest of it. But it's family-friendly. There's a big room that everyone goes to take photos in and whatever. There's one room that's like a really long projected hallway, which just showcases just a really interesting animation. But if you're standing at the wrong angle, or if you don't know how to like break away from like things, if you get motion sickness, it can be quite a trip. So for me in particular, I stood at an angle that allowed me to kind of see the roof as well, to realize this was all a projection, it's not real. So they helped me with my motion sickness, because oh my god, that really tripped me out at times. But it's still nice. It looks very pretty. Helene had a blast going there, because again, she'd never been there before. They had a room that was just full of lily pads, which were all projected onto, so you could walk through hourly several pathways. There's only one exit, and it's literally right next to the entrance. We thought it might have been one point to another, but it's literally you just circle back around. So you will know if you're leaving the room, so you have no stress there. They will double check. They'll say, oh, have you done all the things you want to do? This is the exit. There's no way back. But no, they were really nice about it. They had, there's the more iconic room, which is full of all these straight lines of LEDs, which projects like rain and all kinds of stuff from different colors. That one's a very photography-heavy room. A lot of people just standing there taking photos. We had one corridor stretch right near the exit where there was like 3 different couples, all with like professional big cameras taking photos, and here I am with a goddamn 4K camcorder, just being like, I don't know, I'm fine with my iPhone and my camcorder, but you do you, my guy. So, yeah, but it can be a very photogenic place. One of the rooms in particular is just these hanging, like, orbs, which do have lights in them, but they're very reflective, which makes for some fun imagery as well. A lot of trippy effects and whatnot, which was great. After that, we took a walk in a train. We went to a shrine that just happened to be on the way because we were going to Tokyo Tower. I don't think we actually caught any public transport. No, I was thinking that we were going to catch the train, but I think we just walked to Tokyo Tower because it was like a 10-minute walk. And And it was a humid day still. Weather was quite nice this weekend, but quite cloudy. I still recommend bringing sunscreen. We brought sunscreen with us, and Australian sunscreen is a really good sunscreen. Because there were people we saw, especially by the end of day 3, completely burnt. Because, white people burn easily. I know, I'm one of them. And they were burning like crazy. And I'm like, my guy, you gotta bring sunscreen. I get it. You're in Japan. You're not gonna think of the weather being like that. But the one thing I'm prepared for is sunscreen and a raincoat. And if you need to, buy an umbrella. They've got plenty of umbrellas at 7-Eleven. They've got one that'll automatically pop up. And it's great for rainy days. But then you've got one for sunny days, which is a smaller blue one. That one's obviously because it's thick. The sun doesn't get through it. It's a good sun umbrella. But the good rain umbrellas are the clear plastic ones. Those ones are phenomenal. Especially on windy days. We used that on the Kyoto day, and it was a dream. But yeah, so we went to a temple, which was nice. It was just there on the way. And then, of course, we got to Tokyo Tower. As someone who loves Godzilla films, I've been wanting to go to Tokyo Tower for years, and the fact that we didn't go there when I didn't go with my dad is kind of beyond me. Like, we went to Tokyo Skytree. This was the day we went to Shibuya. My dad had suggested that we book Shibuya Sky, but we couldn't book it in time, and to be fair, it's not really a good day to look around because it was so overcast. Even when we're in Tokyo Tower, which you go like 150 meters up into the air, and it's a beautiful looking tower. It did have a construction zone right next to it, which was interesting. But it has a little museum showing you, the construction of it. It shows you images of oh, look, there's a car in front of Tokyo Tower. All this kind of the advertising they used to have for it. But it was a nice sunny day, but overcast well enough so you could get some contrast within the images and whatever. The city, distance-wise, was a bit too overcast, so we couldn't really see very far distance. I don't think you can see Mount Fuji from the tower. We didn't see Mount Fuji the whole trip because of the weather, so I was okay with that. My partner was disappointed because she still hasn't seen it. She's been there twice now. But Fuji's the kind of thing, if you want clear sunny days, if you get an overcast day, you won't be able to see it at all. But it had nice views of the whole city. They had different sections showing you what's in front of you. You could scan a thing to tell you where you were and everything. They have these stamps throughout Japan, mostly at train stations, where it's a reason why I brought a written journal, which allows you to stamp them in. We only really got stamps for the first 2 or 3 days, which was really disappointing. We got it at one random train station, and the rest was at a couple of touristy places like Tokyo Tower. But for the most part, didn't utilize it for the rest of the trip, which was really, really annoying. It's the kind of thing I'm going to use as a scrapbook to put in all my tickets and stuff that we bought, because they really like physical things, from physical train tickets to, tickets for when you go to locations again like Tokyo Tower and whatnot. They will give you a physical version so you can keep it, obviously, but also as this is how you get in, so not everything is on your phone. Some big places like Disneyland and Universal and the theme parks and stuff, they will give you digital codes, but you can also print them out if you really want to. But Tokyo Tower was nice. We didn't go all the way to the top because, again, it was a bit too overcast to really enjoy that, but we weren't on the 2 floors that you could go to. You go up to one, you can get a stairway down to a second floor, which gives you views of the whole tower. You can just look straight down at the ground, the perfect sky view. They had some small ones, they had some large ones. Good for photography reasons. They had a cute little ice cream shop there as well, so we got some ice cream. And then we walked around outside to get more photography shots. Again, it was nice weather for it, so it was at least beautiful and sunny. I liked having the clouds there. It wasn't too distracting. Firstly, good for sun protection, but always wear a hat and sunglasses and sunscreen. But also the fact that it gave you some good contrast of just all these images of Tokyo Tower with big clouds behind it, or with some blue space. I got some nice images from the whole thing, which I really liked. And Helene did find some interesting spots to shoot at, but there was one in particular which is a kind of an underground alleyway that you can just look up directly at the tower, which they're like, this is the best secret location, but it's not a secret location. There was at least an hour's worth of a queue there, so we just decided, let's not do that. Let's do other things, because everyone's doing the same stuff, and if everyone's doing the same stuff, you kind of lose that, just random spontaneity of, hey, here's something that we took that's our own versus what everyone else is doing. It wasn't very unique. But there's a park right next to it, so you could take photos from there. The autumn leaves were starting to kick in, which was nice. It wasn't as prominent as I would have preferred, but it was mostly like 1 in 10 trees had autumn leaves, which is nice because autumn leaves in Australia don't last very long. They usually die after a week, which sucks. But I've always loved that kind of, at least like in Halloween films, for example, they've always got autumn leaves, which is always red or orange or brown, and it's such an interesting contrast to your green leaves. So it made it interesting. It gave us some nice, beautiful vistas and whatnot. But we ended up going to Shibuya, where we walked to, we caught the train to, it wasn't Shibuya Station, it was Yoyogi Station that we went to, because there's a big park there just north of Shibuya, where you can walk through the whole place, and it's just a nice long walk surrounded by trees and everything. They have some old temple related stuff, so you can get some good photo shots and whatnot, all at Yoyogi Park.
Tori, like a bag of sorties.
Walking through all of that to Takashita Street, which I won't lie, having to write that out and seeing if you spelt it out as Take Shitter Street, it's a strange name, to put it lightly. It's a very big tourist trap, I'll give you that. It's one long street full of street food and touristy stuff. Again, the weather was humid, but it's nicely shaded because you're surrounded by tall buildings. And from here, we were able to get some lunch, where we didn't go to the Capcom building where you could get a Ryu burger, which annoyed my friend. He really wanted me to go there. But I went to the Harajuku Kebab, Aladdin Kebab shop, where I got a kebab for some reason. It just was nice. As well as the Angel Harajuku Crepe, where I got a drink that had a ice cream bunny in it. It was strange. It was basically a spider, at least in Australian terms, where you have a Coca-Cola fizzy drink and an ice cream. It had a layer of whipped cream in between, which was cute, and it was a bunny. I don't know. I'll take it. It was cute. We went to a couple stores there. Helene bought a jacket. It was fun. It was nice. Very tourist heavy. But a lot of interesting stuff. I think it's called AC/DC Rag is where she went to, which had a lot of great alternate kind of clothing. There's a lot of people in Tokyo who dress up in very different kind of clothing. It's not too bizarre. If you go to Melbourne directly into the CBD, there's so much in terms of contrast of what people are wearing, and it's very similar in Tokyo. Osaka is very different. You'll get very rarely people dressing a bit more alternatively, a bit more anime-ish or whatever. In Tokyo, you get it everywhere. And it's really nice to look at. It's so cool to see that just local people are just dressing up that way. It's very much a representation of who they want to look like and whatnot. Maybe it's a fad. Maybe it's just this is what's popular. This is the niche, whatever. But it's just really nice to see, and there was so many variations, and to go into some of the stores that emphasize that, but are also probably capitalizing off of it at the same time. This is probably the Japanese version of Dangerfield, but a bit less goth, but at the same time, it's kind of like anime goth in a way. But it was cute, and there was some people there dressed up. There was some nice stuff. Some kid-focused stores as well that Helene wanted to visit because they had some very interesting areas where you could take some photos of sets that were all in different disarray and whatever, and just a whole bunch of stuff. However, we walked through Shibuya towards, well, that was That was Harajuku. We walked through Harajuku towards Shibuya. It's all in Shibuya. There was some stores there with some props and some monsters and whatnot, which was cute. And we ended up going to Tower Records. I wish I shot footage from Tower Records, but I didn't want to be rude. But Tower Records was literally a tower full of records. You had CDs and vinyl on the first floor, and as you went up, each floor had different things. There was a floor just for anime soundtracks, there was a floor for J-pop, there was a floor for international music, there was a floor for things that had DVDs as well, so I got a couple of CDs from them. They had the Challenges soundtrack, which I'm like, holy crap, they have that on CD? Like, that doesn't exist on CD, so I bought that. I bought a CD for a friend as well, because he's a big Kiss fan, and it was one of his favorite albums, so I figured, hey, it's in Japanese, I'll buy him that. And I also continued that with, I got the Neon Genesis Evangelion Decade CD, which was a nice hard case clamshell, but upon opening it when I got back to Melbourne, there was nothing actually in it outside of just a standard CD case, which is a bit weird. I'm like, you'd expect there to be like a mini poster or art cards or something, and there was just nothing, so I'm like, I mean, I probably spent maybe like 2,800 yen on it, but I'm like, that's kind of strange in a way, but at least the other two were like less than $20, so I'll take that. But it was cool. They had like Japanese variations of stuff. They had a whole shelf, which was all just Neon Genesis, which was so cool. But again, because I couldn't translate it at the time, there was just nothing I bought. They had some DVDs and Blu-rays there, but nothing really stood out to me as interesting to get. But it was nice also to see like American artists who I really like. They had Brat there, which was interesting on vinyl, the big green cover, but instead of saying Brat, it was just the Japanese kanji for it, which is really amusing to me, because it's like, if you don't know what Brat is, you're just looking at a green thing that just has text on it that's in kanji, and you're like, what is that? I don't know. But it was cute. But it was nice to go to Tower Records, and of course we walked through Shibuya, and we went to the infamous Jumanji 33 Club. Now, Jumanji 33 Club is not a club you can access all the time. We didn't go into it. We weren't there to go into it. Instead, there were xenomorphs. For some reason, there was just 2 xenomorphs on the top of this building, and it was just kind of awesome to see them. They just look like they're made out of metal or stone, just chiseled in there and just standing there. I know that during some periodic seasons, I think for Christmas, they decorate them with like a Santa hat and whatnot and some tinsel. It was very weird. They're just there. Like, my partner didn't know what it was. When I told her we're going to Jumanji Club 33, because they're all within a quick walk from Tower Records to Jumanji Club 33 and Shibuya Crossing, they're all within like a 5 to 10 minute walk of each other. She didn't know what it was, and so when we got there, she immediately saw it and was like, oh my god, what the hell? So she realized exactly why I'd brought her there, because I'm like, look, it's xenomorphs. Now take a photo of me with the xenomorphs. And they're just cool. No one else was taking photos of them, because obviously for some people it's a tourist trap like myself, but for other people it's just a thing. It's just weird, and it's just cool. So I'll take it. I'm glad that I've been there. My brother went there a couple of years ago, and I didn't know it existed. So when he went there, I was just like, what do you mean? There's just a club that has xenomorphs on the front. There's nothing alien related on the inside. They're just there. It's almost like someone just found them and was like, I'm going to buy them and put them on the top of my club door, so then people will maybe see it and think, oh, I should go in there. Even though when you look it up, it's just a regular club. Either way, we ended up going through Shibuya. We saw some of the people driving in their go-karts, because they have that in Shibuya. Apparently, people hate it. According to my cousin, people hate those things, because they're loud, and they're always in the way of traffic, and they always have to be on a certain designated path, of course. But of course, we went to Shibuya Crossing after that, which is not... it's still as popular and as crowded as always. Always people walking around filming everything, which I, of course, got some footage, so here's some of that footage. But yeah, we went across it a couple of times. We ended up seeing the dog that they had there, the dog statue of that dog whose owner it walked to the station with him every day. He died like at work and never came back, and the dog would keep going there every single day waiting for its owner, and eventually died. And they made a statue, and then the statue got like blown up during the war, so they made a new statue. And that's a big tourist trap as well. So I didn't take a lot of photos with it because I don't really need to pose next to a statue of a dead dog, but I appreciate it. I'm like, hey, it's like that episode of Futurama. So yeah. They had a couple stores there. We went to Super Oryu Shio Ramen, which was just one random ramen store that we found, because it's always great to just go to random places for food. There's obviously so much to offer, and Dad and I, when we were in Shibuya last time, were like, hey, let's just go to a random ramen place. And so we went here, and they have their plastic versions of what you could eat, and that looked convincing enough. So we went upstairs. You actually had to climb up 2 flights of stairs to get to it. They're playing Beatles music the whole time, which was very strange. You had other tourists next to us that did not speak English, which is fine. Probably better anyway, because at least I'm not getting distracted by someone else's loud conversation. And there was a couple of good people there to just speaking there in general. But the ramen was really nice. I would definitely recommend it. But again, there's so many places. There was 3 ramen places next to each other in that kind of place, like right there. So you can go anywhere. It's no real stress. But it was nice. The ramen was good. Music was nice. The people were nice. You paid up front. We luckily had cash on us. Always bring cash. My mother gave me the coin purse that I bought when I was first overseas. I gave that to her when I got back. She's used it since she's gone there a couple of times, and then she gave it back to me to use when I went there. I highly recommend getting a coin purse. It was easy to go the first time we were there, because when Dad and I went, we went to a market like on the first day, and so I bought a coin purse there. But we didn't have any of those opportunities this time around, so I'm happy that I had already brought the same coin purse, and Helene had a big wallet that had coin slots and whatnot. But yeah, have a wallet that can hold a lot of cash as well. Always good to have cash on you. Like, a lot of people pay with cards now, which is fine, but a lot of people do not take cards, and it's a lot easier to just do cash. Some stores, we had a 7-Eleven that we went to where the guy just took all of my coins and turned it into cash, which was nice. That never happened again. I probably could have asked someone, but it depends on the store. I think that was the Lawson's, because there's 7-Eleven, Lawson's, and Family Mart. Never went into a Family Mart, went into a bunch of 7-Elevens, went into the occasional Lawson's. But yeah, so then we went back to the Shibuya crossing to get some footage from the Starbucks, because that whole building, they're like, oh, only paid people could look out the window, so paid customers. No one enforced it there at the Starbucks, so we just went there. There's just a bunch of people. I don't think they cared. And it was nice. Got some nice footage of it. On the way back at the train station, we found a Pop Mart. Pop Mart is a very popular, mystery box store in Melbourne and Australia and a lot of countries. We'd seen a couple already in Japan, but all of them were like, oh, you can only get in if you have like not a booking, but a raffle that you've won, because they get so popular, so it just makes it easier to just, raffle it off, so then they're not getting a billion people in a go. And this place was open for anyone, so we just walked in. I grabbed the Chucky figure mystery box because I didn't know that they existed yet. And got a Chucky mystery box where it's him, a graveyard Chucky. He's digging up a grave, and the grave is that of Charles Lee Ray, which is just cute. And I got a Tamagotchi gummy thing on a stick, which was nice. It's tasty, I guess. And that was the Saturday. So that's day 2. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Adios.